just gonna do, I think I'm just gonna put like a fucking recliner up here because I want to do this in the chillest, easiest way possible. And this is like pretty comfortable. I'm not even worried about this right now. I think I actually like this setup better having the camera there than I did over here with the tripod. Now I just feel like I'm talking to myself, which, hey, again, always do on this because I'm just in here by myself. And I was just thinking, one of the worst things about doing this podcast is that I can't listen to music. Like, I wish I could have music playing in the background while I do this because I feel like music is just good to always have. And I can't have music while I do this because then you would hear it in the background and it would ruin my audio. And then I'd probably get flagged by Spotify or something because copyright laws or something. So I'm just in here silence. And I kind of have tinnitus, so my ears ring. And they're ringing right now. But, you know, I can get through it because I'm doing this for you. And you want to listen. And actually, I had, surprisingly, I had a few people DM me and tell me, hey, I listened to all your podcasts so far, and when's the other one coming? So now I had some people ask me, and you know what that did? It made me feel pretty special because, of course, you want to feel special. You want to make something that people like and they want to listen to, and they ask you for it, which is even better. It's kind of like opening up. It's kind of like opening up a store and nobody comes in. It's not a good feeling. But we're doing this video. I got a fucking pimple on my neck. Look at that. And I didn't even realize it till I saw, because I have my camera feed is on my TV right here. So I can like see and check out the lighting and make sure it's like framed properly, you know. And I can see that pimple and it's right there. And if Gabby was here, she would go, hey, put on a pimple patch. I don't know if you guys know what pimple patches are, but they are some bullshit industry plant that doctors made and put their name on it to just say you put it on a zit and a pimple and it goes away. Hey, they don't do anything. Anytime I have a pimple or a zit, she hounds me to put a pimple patch on. And you know what I do? I don't put it on. Maybe I'll even lie and say that I do. So next time she sees me and goes, oh, see? Pimple's gone. Pimple patch does wonders. No, it doesn't. So I thought that was pretty funny because I'm not going to put a pimple patch on. I'm not going to do it. I'm very much so like one of those type of people that I don't like to do stuff if someone tells me to do it. I want to do something on my own. Like if I figure out I want to do something and I will like research and study and look at something, and then I figure out that I want to do it, that's when I do it. I won't do something if someone keeps telling me I have to do it. It's like if you have somebody that's like, oh, you got to watch this TV show, you got to watch this TV show. It's great. I'm going to make sure not to watch it. I'm just going to make sure not to watch it because I'm not going to do it. I was like 4 years too late on Game of Thrones. I wanted to watch it after everybody was done telling me to watch it. And then I watched it and I think I made maybe 5 seasons. Hey, too many seasons. I think it went into like 8 or 9 or something. 9 or 10. I really don't know. I remember, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, I think I got as far as when that chick with the white blonde hair started hatching dragons or something. That's as far as I know. And actually, I started getting real fucking confused when there's so many characters. If you start introducing too many characters at one point, like I can't keep track of everybody. I can't keep track of all these names. And another thing I hate when seasons do that, like if you're into like 8 or 9 or 10 or 12 seasons, you can't go season 7 and season 7. And then when you start season 8, be all over the fucking place. And there's like new people. The entire show, I'm just on IMDb being like, well, who is that? Who is that person? And then I just stop. I just turn it off. And that's basically what Game of Thrones was to me. So I never really got into Game of Thrones. But back to the pimple patch thing. I don't like to do stuff when people tell me to do it, and when people tell me they think I should do it. The thing I keep forgetting to do is when I do these is I gotta put this on my desk so it can like see me move, because I have it over there, and then if it doesn't see me move, what it does is it turns the lights off, because hey, I put these motion lights in here. I have the Philips fuse all over the place, and they're really cool. But if you don't move, the lights will turn off. If you turn into Mario in a Taniki suit in Super Mario Bros. 3, the lights will turn off. I will not turn into stone. My lights will just go off. It's 1 o'clock in the morning right now, to be honest. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up doing this podcast. I was editing a reel, fucking around on my YouTube, posting some videos, getting lost in the sauce of analytics and all that other boring stuff, because I'm like obsessed with numbers, and I like to see what works and what doesn't, and I try to figure out why it works and why it doesn't work, and I try to figure out people and figure out what keeps their attention and like what doesn't keep their attention, and why do people drop off. It's just it's crazy interesting to me, but it's really crazy to try to talk about that to other people, and I don't unless I ask, because it's like politics. No one wants to talk about that unless they ask you, because they're like, hey, I don't understand. I don't get that. Nothing makes sense to me. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, it's like 1 a.m. and I'm up doing this. I can't sleep. I'm not really tired. I'm like wide awake. Everybody else is sleeping. Got nothing else to do. Might as well bang this out. Not because I have to, because I want to, because I don't do anything I don't want to do. And if I didn't want to do this, I want to do it, but I do like doing it because I enjoy it. And actually, it's getting more fun to me. I'm like getting in like a groove of everything, realistically. I don't know what's happened. I kind of do know what happened, but I'll get into that in a second. Got to itch my ear. So I touched the mic. So over the past, let's say maybe since Christmas Eve, up until now, I don't know if you remember when I was ranting about New Year's resolutions, and if you go hard on a New Year's resolution, and if you talk about it right away, I said, if you're going to make a New Year's resolution, don't tell anybody, because if you don't do it, you're going to look stupid. And then you're just going to hope no one talks about it, no one brings it up, because then you're just going to be, I want to talk about something else. Hey, I didn't do that thing. I look like an idiot, because I'm going to be like everybody else, and I'm going to make a New Year's resolution, and it didn't follow through with it. I fucked up, couldn't do it. So I didn't say that, but when I was saying that in the first episode, I made a New Year's resolution, but I started early. I jumped on the whole dry January thing, but I started early because I didn't want to do it when everybody was saying to do it, and I didn't want to act like everybody else. But hopped on the dry January trend, but started December 25th, started Christmas. So whatever it is, by the time you listen to this, I have not drank alcohol since then. And I just said great news, and nobody's clapping because I'm in a room so quiet and the dog's sleeping on the floor. But yeah, I haven't drank since then. And only good things have come out of it, to be completely honest. I've probably drank, I don't want to say, since it was basically like when you're like 21. Or even like sooner, going to like parties and stuff in like high school and stuff, like you could just like drink. And I used to drink a lot. Even up until last year. I mean, I could easily drink like a handle of gin in like 3 days. And wake up and go to work and be completely fine. I was basically a functioning alcoholic. But I stopped drinking, not because it was like affecting anything. I mean, it kind of inadvertently, it probably was, but since then, I'm just like, I feel like there's a part of my fucking brain that is just opened up now. And this is going to sound crazy, but like, it makes sense. I need you to listen. Before when I was drinking, any of my spare time, when my work was done or anything like that, I was drinking if I wasn't doing anything else. And I had no motivation to really do anything else because of that. But in hindsight, or is that the right way to say this? But at the time, I didn't really think it was a problem. I didn't think it was affecting me the way that it was because still working, still making money, still paying bills, still doing everything I had to do, still being a person. So I wasn't suffering anywhere like that. Like nothing bad like that was happening. But what I did notice, I only noticed the problems until after I stopped. And you're probably asking yourself like, oh, I used to drink a bunch and I had a hard time stopping, or my uncle had a hard time stopping. Like, how did you do it? I just did it. Just stopped. Literally Christmas Day or Christmas, whenever it was like, gonna stop drinking. Oh, you sure you can do it? Yeah, just stop doing it. And I've never had an urge to do it after that. I have a very addictive personality, and I can get like addicted and obsessed with things very easily. But as easy as I can do that, I could just quit even easier. Like I used to smoke cigarettes and shit too, off and on, like maybe like two years ago, smoking cigarettes. Why? Something to do, I guess. But hey, that's gross. And just stopped one day. I said, this is gross and I don't want to do this anymore. And I just was like, hey, not going to smoke anymore. And I stopped. But drinking was like the same thing. I just was like, hey, not going to do this anymore. And like I said, since then, my brain is just on fucking more so hyperdrive than it's ever been. I'm like seeing in 4K. Everything is just like, there is, to try to put this in the best way I possibly can. If you remember like Iron Man or whatever, how he has that fucking HUD is what you want to call it, HUD or whatever, like you see the things. My brain is just firing all the time, all this stuff, and there's like shit all over the place. And that wasn't happening before. It was, but at a smaller scale. Like there were ideas and stuff flowing around, but there was something stopping it from like connecting the dots and stuff. And now, since I'm completely sober, that is just on hyperdrive. And the thing with that is, like, my creativity level and all that stuff has just been just insane. Like, I'll just get ideas and I'll just do it. And it's, I don't know. I'm like, now I notice that, and I can like sense it. And, it's fucking awesome. To be completely honest, like, it's awesome. I'm like not tired. I'm super motivated. And like I said, it's been like since Christmas, and I'm just fucking cranking out shit left and right. I'm like doing a YouTube now. I'm like fucking writing sketches and short films in my head. I'm like doing stuff all over the place, and I'm not even tired. It's like I said, it's 1 o'clock in the morning right now. Everybody's sleeping, and I'm doing a fucking podcast. And I'm going to have to edit this too and post it online. You know, I'm going to do it. It's going to take hours, but I'm going to do it. And then even after that, I don't know, go to bed or something, have a Diet Coke, little DC. I've been drinking a lot of Diet Cokes. That's the thing. You know what? Maybe I just switched gin to Diet Cokes. And what's really funny is in high school, I used to hate gin. Gin was gross. I don't even know why. Actually, no, I can tell you why I started drinking gin. It was, COVID. That's what happened. It was COVID's fault, really, because I don't know where it was, where you were when, like, wherever you're listening to this from. I don't know what COVID was like when you were around, or when all that stuff took place, but a lot of our like stores and stuff shut down, and the liquor stores especially shut down. So you had to like, drive like out of the state or something, and going to West Virginia to get booze. Hey, problem. Going to West Virginia to get booze, and somebody, they were like, oh, we didn't have what you wanted, so it just got you this bottle of gin. And I was like, ugh. All right, well, whatever. Hey, drank it. And then that was just it. I think that was just like the you know, the gin phase started at COVID. You know, a lot of good things came out of COVID though, if you think about it. Businesses had to adapt left and right. We got Uber Eats, Grubhub, all that stuff. Everybody just was like, touchless this, touchless that, touchless delivery. Hey, you know what I like? That option on delivered to just be like, just leave on my doorstep. Don't knock. Dog will go crazy. Don't ring my doorbell. I hate doorbells. Actually, if I remember, I'm actually going to snip my doorbell. I hate when people ring the doorbell because it just makes a dog go nuts. But now going off, have a story here. Now I'm going to try to remember it. But yeah, like all these businesses had to adapt to get the touchless stuff, and a lot of stuff like that was like able to excel like in the business world, but also started drinking too much during COVID. But what was the other story? What was it? Doorbell. Okay, yeah. I hate doorbells. And I hate that they exist on houses because if you're my buddy coming over, one, I know you're coming over. No one ever just shows up. If you are just a friend and show up at someone's house, you're an asshole. If you're coming over to my house, I know that you're there. Also, telephones exist. Text me. Hey, I'm out front. Just don't knock. You don't got to ring a doorbell. You don't got to do that. So I keep forgetting to just snip mine off. But I do have a Ring doorbell, and I really do like that because the Ring doorbell has a button that you can push, and it doesn't ring through my house. It just pops up on my phone, which goes under the dog's radar. Perfect. But then I could just pop up and look at your face and be like, nah, I'm not home. Because it's usually like a door-to-door salesman or something like that, which is insane that those people even exist. I mean, think about that for a minute. When have you ever been home relaxing? On a weekday, no less. Usually around dinner time. It's the best time to just piss you off as a homeowner, or if you're just home. When have you ever been home just chilling, watching TV, or just whatever, and you're like, you know what? I would really love to fucking drop $14K on new windows right now. I just wish somebody would come to try to sell me that. That is a thought process that I just can't understand and digest. Because if I'm going to purchase something like that, if whatever you're selling me door to door or coming to my house, like a new roof or windows or spray my lawn or house for bugs or something, that is a problem that I realize that I have, and that is a problem that I realize I need, that I know I need to do. So I'm doing research on my own, and I'm figuring that out myself, and I'm looking online for stuff. I'm not going to have someone come to my house and convince me that I need a new roof and just get a new roof because you came to my house. Like last summer, I had this kid, felt real bad. And I say kid, I don't know. He maybe 25 or something. I really don't know. I don't know how old people are anymore. I judge how old people are by how tall they are. And you're probably curious because my friends or people will be like, hey, how old's your nephew? And I'll be, I don't know. He's like this tall. So that's how I gauge age. And once you get past a certain point, you could be any age. If you're between 2 and 5 feet, you're 3 or 5 years old. If you're up here, maybe 4 or 5 feet, 10, 11. If you get as tall as I am, I don't know how old you are. You could be 40, you could be 70. And then you start to get shorter and you're 90. Unless you're my Japanese aunt because she's shrinking. So my mom's shrinking too. She was like 5'2" growing up, but now she's like probably 4'3". I don't know. A lot of people shrink. You grow up and then you get tall and then you just turn into Benjamin Button. You go in reverse. You're just getting shorter. I don't know why that works. But anyway, this kid, he, this tall. He was this tall, so I don't know how old he was. As tall as me, could be Could be the youngest man alive, could be the oldest man alive, but he was looking young. He knocked on my door, and I was like, I don't know, who's out front? And this is before my ring, and I just willy-nilly, that's why I answered the door. My screen door was open, the worst, because they can just like look in and they catch you. And you're like a deer in headlights. You're like, fuck. You like make eye contact and you can't do anything. Unless you just froze and made it incredibly awkward to where they just left. Or unless you walked around and you had that, like, you painted yourself to blend in with your house so you could, at a certain angle or like a certain point, you just blend into only one specific spot of the background. But if you move a centimeter to the left, it ruins the trick. I hate that trick. Hey, move the camera. I could see you. But it shows up, knocks, and I was like, I don't remember seeing a car pull up. Dude rode in on a fucking Segway through my neighborhood. Just like, and I'm sure that's a marketing thing too. I'm sure he's like, what's the most funniest, ironic vehicle I could try to sell stuff to? And I think that's what it was. And right there, red flag. I didn't want to talk to him, but I did anyway, because I'm not a mean person, but I talked to him, and he was selling bug stuff. He wanted to spray my yard and my house and around the foundation and the roof and around the windows and doors and, you know, all that other stuff. And I don't have a bug problem. Never had a bug problem. And I've never noticed a weirdly amount of bugs in my house, other than, you know, the occasional, you know, spider here or there, but that's normal. Stink bugs outside or something. Fucking hate stink bugs. We get them a lot where I'm at for some reason. But he's sitting here talking to me about all these bugs, and all he's doing is making me think in my head, do I have a bug problem? Am I just oblivious to all these bugs in my house? And that's where they get you. They want to try to convince you that you have a problem, that you don't have a problem, to where you're like, well, gee, I don't have bugs, but the way you're talking, I don't want them. Gee, I would love to buy your service. So anyway, I was nice. I was just like, hey, you know, I don't need it. He's like, oh, come on, man. He's like, how about this? If you do XYZ, I'll give you XYZ. And I'm like, I'm fine. Seriously, like, I'm okay. You know, I'm even like, hey, do you want like a Coke or something? You know, an energy drink, you know, like, do you want like a Monster or a granola bar or something? Just send him packing, because he's probably tired trying to balance on that Segway thing. And he had a helmet on. He had a helmet on, and he didn't take it off. So he just looked like the most insecure salesman trying to sell me bug spray because he didn't take his helmet off. I don't know why. Yeah, I just remember he had his helmet on. Insane behavior, by the way. First of all, I don't know. I know helmets are super safe, but they make them look cooler, you know? I don't ever wear a helmet. Even when I was younger, I used to ride bikes, and my mom would be like, put your helmet on. And I would ride to the corner to where she wouldn't see me, and the helmet would come off. And it would stay there in the bushes. Put it back on before I came home. Because helmets just, why don't they design them to look cooler? Why don't they make helmets look like the top of your head, so no one really knows you're wearing them? I feel like with all the technology and stuff that we have, like, couldn't they make helmets look cooler? And I feel like the furthest they went with making helmets cool was put that stupid mohawk on it. Well, I'm not wearing that. And I'm also not going to look like Lance Armstrong. I don't want to have a mohawk helmet, and I also don't want to look like I'm going 200 miles an hour. Where's the in-between with bike helmets? But anyway, after turning this guy down multiple times, he just was so persistent. You know, he was bugging me. Ugh. He was bugging me, and I just didn't want it. And what they do is they're like, here you go. I'll leave you with this pamphlet, because you marketing got to leave a lead behind to remind you of him and his services. Well, he's gone, and he's not there to bug me. And I didn't want it. I didn't want the bug spray. And I hate door salesmen because they just try to get you to buy. And it's never cheap either. It's never cheap. Whatever they're trying to sell you is expensive, which doesn't make sense either. Like, don't you think they'd want to sell like a little bit cheaper stuff? Like a little, I bet their conversion rate would be just way better if they were selling something cheaper. You know, where are the kids with candy bars anymore? Where's the Girl Scout cookies that come, you know, that's what I'm buying. You come to my house, you sell me candy for a couple bucks. And if you come around with a credit card swiper or like a little Squarespace or Square thing where I could just swipe with an iPad, and if you turn it around and ask for a tip, I'm not going to tip a kid selling me candy. But those are the things I'm going to buy. I'm not going to buy a $15,000 roof, especially if I don't need it. I'm not going to buy bug stuff. But the funny thing is, when that guy was here trying to sell me bug shit, I was like, hey, you know, my neighbor right to the left would probably love to hear you. Because hypochondriac worries about that stuff, got her. She got the bug stuff. And for like a few weeks, she's like, I haven't seen a single bug. And I'm like, well, I don't remember you complaining about bugs before that person. See what I'm saying? They just make you think you have a problem. They sell you the problem. No, they give you they make you think you have a problem, then sell you the solution. That's how that works. And if you learned anything from this, that's the key takeaway. Is just be mindful about that, I guess. And even I have a no soliciting sign on my front. And you're probably thinking, wow, what a miserable man. Get off my lawn. No, it's not like that. It's aesthetically pleasing, and my fault, you probably can't really see it, but it's there. And I'm just like, what asshole sees that and goes, yeah. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see that sign. Got my horse blinders on because I trotted in here on my Segway. Got bugs? Not anymore. Not with Jimmy Bugby gone. Only 35 payments of $1,000 every 3 months, but I'll give you your first month for free. No more bugs. See ya. A lot of stories just happened right there, and it went from, hey, serious to weird back into that. So I apologize, but not really. This is just what it is. But I am comfortable as shit sitting like this because I got that camera mount on the wall, which it's just going to stay there now. And I don't have to look here. I don't got to look there. And I got this light and stuff up here. I'm just chilling. And I'm just like super comfortable. And pretty soon, this chair, you're just going to see a transition of, I'm just going to start slouching to where it's just, you'll just see the top of my hat poking up and this microphone will just go to the ground. And I'll just be on the ground talking. But as long as I'm comfortable, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I briefly mentioned, I started messing around with YouTube a little bit more and getting into that. And it's been like fun too, because I just like to make shit. So I can just like make stuff and post it. Just make a video. Like, there you go, YouTube. And people watch it. And it's crazy. And I've noticed like the comments are more, they're more like thoughtful, I guess. Unless you get like, comments everywhere could be bad. Like, people just comment the stupidest shit. I don't think people think when they comment. The problem with online and comments is because you could just do it so quick and press enter. There's not a lot of thought and thinking behind it. You just, and you send it. There's no thought process behind it. I guarantee if comments you had to like take out a piece of paper and a fucking quill and write your rude comment and wax stamp it and mail it off by a pigeon, you wouldn't do it. You'd be like, it's not worth it. But now it's just so easy. You could just see something you don't like and be like, I don't like that. That's stupid. Send. Maybe we should bring back carrier pigeons. I don't even know how they worked. You know, don't quote me on this, and I'm not going to research this. I refuse. I'm not going to look it up. Is there proof that was even a thing? Like, did pigeons really bring notes back and forth? And what year was that? That was happening? I don't know. And I could be rude, and I could Google it right now, and, you know, I could just edit that out. I don't know why I'm complaining about it. We could figure, you know, I'm just going to do it. Let's see. Carrier pigeon invented. Hey, they didn't invent pigeons, but in the 5th century BC, the first network of pigeon messengers is thought to have been established in Persia by Cyrus the Great in 2000 BC. How come everybody had the Great in their name back then? The Great. Jimmy the Great. Why did everybody have the Great in their name back then? Just think about that. Just notice that right now. Everybody had the Great or something like that in their name. Caesar the Great. Julius Caesar, et Brute. Imagine living back then in that time frame. Everybody just had asshole haircuts. Where were they even getting their haircut? Probably getting their haircut with like Flobies or something in the Coliseum in the basement. You guys even know what a Flobie is? Yes, no, can't hear you. But if you don't, if you don't know what a Flobie is, please, for the love of God, look it up after this and just watch some YouTube. I'm sure there's YouTube commercials on it, but a Flobie was basically a vacuum, okay? And at the end of the vacuum, it looked like a shop vac, but smaller, like this big. It looked like a shop vac. And the end of it had a thing that went like this. It literally looked just like a shop vac. I guarantee that's where shop vacs came from. Or whoever invented the Flobie put a shop vac in it. But anyway, it would just vacuum your head, essentially, okay? And it would suck the hairs up in the top. And up in there were blades. And it would just go, and it would cut your hair. And it would take the hair and suck it into the vacuum. And you would just have this dick-ass haircut. And everybody would be like, oh, geez, Mike got the Flobie. I can just tell. Because his head looks like the guy from Men in Black, just because his head just was sucked on for 15, 20 minutes to get this haircut. Edgar, that's his name. Your skin's falling off your bones, Edgar. Sugar, that guy. You know what I'm talking about. Men in Black. Put my hands on my head. That guy, that Edgar guy. That's what you look like after getting caught with a Flobie. And the only reason why I know what a Flobie is because my cousin had one. And it was like the cousin that is on that side of the family you don't really fuck with, you know? It's like that side. Everybody's got that side. And if you don't, you're lying. And right now you're thinking, oh yeah, that side. Yeah, I don't have that side. Fuck that side. Anyway, that was a side. They lived on a farm. They lived like on a farm, like out in like the woods area. So, but they didn't use the farmland. They just like, it was just there. But he had a Flobie. And I just thinking about it was the most insane thing. And he also had a Flobie, but he was also the first person that I knew that had that toy, the claw. It was that monster truck where it would go, and if it got stuck, the tires would open up and these claw things would come out, and it would like help it. It would drive, and it would like get stuck, and there'd be a rock, and the tires would just go. and they would just climb up over. I don't know why that popped in my head, but he had that too. I did like that toy, but I never got one. Maybe it's because my mom was wasting too much money getting me actually good haircuts. But yeah, living back in those old times must have been wild. It's like the Oregon Trail, you know? Like, people didn't live long back then. Like, I feel like you could just die of anything at like 20. And you didn't have a telephone to know about it. You just like go to the meeting or whatever meetings you had back then and be like, where art thou, Timothy the Great? Oh, he died last week, we heard. Of what? Paper cut. Got infected. The paper cut was on his thigh, but they just cut his head off. They were just experimenting and just cut his head off. He died. Tiffany died of dysentery. What the hell is that? I don't know if you guys ever played Oregon Trail, the little floppy disks. And it was a great game. That was a great game. But just back then, you would just die of anything. Now we don't. Well, at least not like that. I mean, now we just die of, shit, like stuff that's going to kill you. But imagine just getting a hangnail and being like, well, this is it. This is it. Just tie my ankles to the back of this ox and run me down the trail, past the Coliseum, and let my dead body fling and tout as the whole town rings their, whatever that big Ricola horn is at the time, whatever instrument was popular at this time period that I'm making up in my head. Grab thou closest carrier pigeon, send a notice to his family. So by the time everybody here's done grieving, they're just going to start because that pigeon's going to take forever to tell them. Now I'm just sitting here thinking, like, how the hell did I even get on this subject? And I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. And also kind of black out a little bit. Like, it just starts and we just go. Because these aren't scripted. And you're probably like, oh yeah, we could tell. Hey, it's fine. I'm not going to sit here and write down and script stuff and be like, oh, better talk about that. Better bring that up. But the bad thing that does happen is when I get done doing these, I'm like, oh shit, I should have talked about that. Oh, I wanted to bring this up. And I forget, and I don't. And when I do the next one, I just forget about it. And we're just like on to the next. So, but actually it's like interesting to me because when I go through, I have to do these. I have to edit them and I have to listen to it again, obviously, because, I have to edit this and like do the audio and everything. I'm just like, what was even going on during that time? Who was present in the moment? It was just me, but like, where did we go? Like, where did I go to get to that thing? I don't know, but it's fun and it's fascinating. The other day, we made tacos for dinner. So I had to go to Trader Joe's. I had to get the stuff to make tacos and, made steak tacos and they were delicious. But I was at Trader Joe's and I needed an avocado and I walk over to the avocado thing and I'm trying to find the ripe ones. It's such a weird perverted thing to me to just grab all these avocados and be like, trying to find the thing, just putting my hands all over the stuff. What else do we do that with? I don't know. I just think that it just looks like a weird pervy thing to just go around grabbing avocados. And avocado actually translates to tree testicle, I think. Let's look it up. I feel like Theo Vaughn doing this. Hey, Daryl, look up, see if the avocados actually translate to tree testicles. According to a linguistic scholar, can't say that word. Oh, that's the old spelling for avocado. It's ahukati. I don't know. I'm probably butchering it. So that word was also used as a euphemism or slang for testicles. And, they kind of look like nuts. They were perverts back then, I feel. I mean, the Romans, all those people were just doing stuff, just dying all the time of AIDS and sexual STDs probably. I mean, I feel like that isn't that how even wasn't olive oil like the first lubrication that they were using? I mean, civilization could have really evolved had they not have all fucked themselves to death, I feel like. I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, have you seen their statues? Muscle bound everywhere, just literally sculpted from stone. Just the most beautiful pecs and abs and calves and just jaw lines and everything. But you know what? Ugh. The littlest peepees ever. I will tell you one thing. If I am a Roman god, if I have the great after my name, and I'm going to spend 1,000,000 rubies or jupils or schmeckles or whatever the hell they had back then, if I'm going to spend an exorbitant amount of goods or currency, whatever the currency was, rubies, ruples, like it's Aladdin, Jafar. If I'm going to spend a bunch of money to get a sculpture of myself, I'm going to be there for a certain time. You know, like if you're commissioning an artist to make something for you that's going to take a lot of time, you know, you're going to get updates of what it looks like. You're going to be asked to come in and be like, hey, you know, I was thinking about doing this and, you know, how do you feel about it? You know, because it is stone. Can't put it back. You know, I'm thinking about doing this, thinking about doing that. And Michelangelo's like, I would like just, I want to be standing like this just a little bit. You know, I want it to look like my pecs or like a little bit bigger. And like, all right, cool, thanks. They dap up. He's like, all right, I'll call you in 17 more years when I'm on the other side. And, you know, they go back and he's like, hey, I'm pretending he's calling him, but he didn't. He sent his carrier pigeon, so he's late. He showed up late, obviously. He's like, hey, I got this statue done. I need you to come over and look at it. And he's like, all right, I'm on my way. Gets in his horse and carriage, probably broke a wagon wheel under there, and his buddy died of dysentery going to see this statue. Walks in, and he couldn't sneak in because everything's freaking marble. He's got his sandals on, some type of gold leaf around his ankle probably. And he's walking down this hall, just big domes everywhere. And the sculptor can hear him coming, you know. The sculptor's like, you know, brushing stuff off with the horse brush, the wooden knob with the horse brush, brushing it off. And the sculptor's like, oh, I gotta hurry. He sounds close. He's going to be here. But he's not close. He's 13 miles away, but it sounds like he's close because he's walking on the marble and everything's so big in the echo. Anyway, Michelangelo comes in and he walks up to a sculpture and it's covered in this beautiful lace, beautiful white sheet, you know. And he goes, okay, here I am. Here's your satchel of rubies that I owe you for the rest of this. And he's like, expose it. Let me see what you've done. And that sheet just, and you hear an audible gasp. Some people start laughing. Michelangelo's like, what's that? And the sculptor's like, what, sir? That. And he's pointing at the tiniest micro penis in the world. Out of everything on the body that they overemphasize and just make these people look as good looking as possible, as ripped as they possibly can, because we know they didn't actually look like that. Don't you think, you know? I know if it was me,
I'd be like, hey, let me slide you a couple more Schmeckle and just make my dong huge. Because as big as this statue is, my dick is eye height of everybody who's looking at me. Just like this. And all you see is just this little, tiny little, all you see is this little tiny, just micro peepee. And it's they just have it so small that it just sticks straight out. Just resting on the nuts. Not big enough to hang down. It can't hang anywhere. It's just resting. So why did they do that? Or just cover it up? None of those guys had pants on. I just want to, what was the decision making to do that? I would love to be in that board meeting if they had them. You know, they're too busy fighting bulls and killing each other with spears for entertainment to just, I mean, all the women, they made them voluptuous. They made all their parts, you know, just big and emphasized, but not that. Not that part. I just don't understand. But again, just picture that. The sheep. Oh my God. It's such a beautiful statue, but like, is it life size? Is that real? Did they sculpt it? Did they sculpt it from real life? How'd they do that, Debbie? And Debbie's like, I don't know. She's like, well, didn't you sleep with them? Yeah, but it was dark. It was dark. We ran out of lantern fluid and it was dark and it was cold. Who could tell? We sent the carrier pigeon for lambskin condoms. It took forever, so we just called it off. I don't know. I didn't take a picture. I wasn't there long enough to sketch it out because they didn't have cameras back then. They just sketched stuff out. But I just don't understand why that looked the way that it does. Why wouldn't you just like, hey, give me the business. I mean, honestly, I'd trade the muscles for that. Because if everybody's got muscles, then nobody's got muscles. If everybody's that big and good looking, then nobody's that big and good looking. But if you're the only guy walking around with a hammer on your statue, then you deserve to have the great with your last name or in your name, I feel like. So yeah, I'm not really sure what made me think of that like Roman story with the statue and little tiny peepees, but I just thought that was pretty funny and hilarious. But what I want to do is like, I want to get to a point where I want to get to a point where I will be able to have other people come on if I see fit, because I think that would be cool to be able to like bullshit back and forth and just talk however. But the thing is I don't want to do it over online. Like I don't want to do it through a Zoom call. I don't want to do it through any type of digital. Like I need you here. Like I need somebody here to talk to back and forth, but it needs to be a specific special type of person because I need to be able to like interact and it will just like be insanely funny. And I know that for a fact because they are usually when that happens. Like I always like if I ever, and like a lot of people probably listening don't really know like me, or like you're not around me 24/7. But if I ever get rich, like rich, to where I could just afford a videographer to just follow me around, I would make fucking billions of dollars. I would put the Kardashians out of business. Like I need the TV show, not them. I feel like that would just be the most amazing thing because there's so much stuff that happens like in my life, and there's stories just left and right. And I wish I could just be like, oh, did you catch that? Did you catch that part? Did you hear what I said? Did you see what happened here? Like, did you get that? Did you get this? Like, oh, give me that back. Like that would just be amazing. That would just be that's what I would do. If I ever got that rich to just willy-nilly to be able to just afford a sound crew or just like one cameraman that would just follow me around when I wanted them to. There's are times where I'd like to be alone. But just follow me around like a fly on the wall. Hilarious content for ever. Or at least until I said stop, you know. Maybe I'll just go on like Fiverr or something and or just put out a Facebook ad on Marketplace looking for a videographer just to follow me around. And I don't know. Facebook Marketplace is just full of weirdos. I don't know if you've ever sold anything on Facebook Marketplace, but it's terrible. I don't really sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace that much, but like when I do, I make sure my ad is so specific with rules in it. And I don't know if it makes me an asshole, but like in it, I will say, do not ask me if this is still available. But if the ad is still up, it is still available. I will not deliver, yada, 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 yada. I put all the rules in there. And when people hit me with the, is it still available? Ignored. But don't answer it. And what I think is the most disrespectful thing on Facebook Marketplace is when people, they don't even remotely try to make any rapport with you. They don't ask you any questions about whatever it is that you're selling. And like I've sold a lens. I've sold lenses like before on Facebook Marketplace, or, you know, like expensive equipment that like I don't use anymore, I don't need, or I got something better. And the first question is, let's just say, this is just example. Like, let's say I have something listed for $1,000. And right away, the first response is, hey, what's the lowest you'll take on that? 1,000, buy. Will you deliver and take this? Will you take less than what you're asking and will you bring it to me? No. Already selling it for a good deal. No, I'm not just going to right off the bat give it to you for less than I want, and I'm not going to bring it to you. So lazy. You know, I wasn't even planning on doing one of these tonight, but I was just sitting here. I was editing some stuff, and I was just like looking at YouTube stuff in my office. I was like, oh, I'm not tired. So I might as well just get on here and just ramble. Just take fleeting thoughts here and there and just pluck it out. And then it's out there. And you can listen, digest, and go, huh, okay. I know that avocados could be tree testicles. I never thought about this or that or this thing. Because you know what we could do? You know, I thought about the whole like talking about current event stuff, but that just gets dicey. It gets dicey because the stuff that's all current events and everything that goes on is so political, and I hate politics. Don't want to talk about that stuff. Inadvertently kind of am, but there's so much trash on TV. There's so much trash in the news. And it's like, yeah, it's stuff to talk about, but like not segregating anything. That's just like not, I don't know. What is there stuff to talk about? I feel like we just hear about the same stuff all day, every day. So in my eyes, it may be nice to just listen to absolutely nothing, but a whole lot at the same time. That's my whole plan. This is just the thing. I mean, I said this before. This is a whole lot of nothing, but a lot at the same time. And it's stuff that you're not hearing anywhere else. And you don't have to hear about this. You could just go, you know what? I have zero expectations. And that is great. I'm not going to leave disappointed. And I'm not going to leave upset. That is great. I would love to watch a TV show like that. You know, TV shows like that do exist. But sometimes they don't. Saved by the Bell was an amazing TV show until the college years ruined it. Why'd they have to go to college? Just stop the show. Why do you got to introduce new characters? I don't have an emotional attachment to this new person. Stop watching it. And also, once Screech got older, he wasn't funny because he was awkward anymore. Now he's just like old and weird. And then he ended up, you know. So maybe he didn't like the college years either. Started watching The White Lotus a little bit, and I was told there would be Sydney Sweeney in it, and I'm 3 episodes in, and I'm like, where's the Sydney Sweeney come in? And Gabby's like, oh, that was in like the first 2 seasons. And I'm like, what are we doing? And she's like, oh, well, I already blew through those. And then I'm like, why are you bringing me in late? Why are you bringing me in late in the game? And then I get invested in 3 episodes, and now it's under my impression that now it's a thing we're doing together. And then I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, just watching White Lotus. Huh? Why is that a woman thing? Why do women do that? They're like, hey, we should watch a show together. And, you know, usually they're not that old. Hey, we should watch this show together. And then you watch the show, then it gets you sucked in. And then they're like, yes, now he's interested in this show. What I'm going to do is watch it in my free time when he's busy. And then you go to watch it. They're like, yeah, I watched it already. TV, man. TV shows. That's why I don't watch stuff where people tell me I have to watch it, because you're just going to watch it without me. You're just going to blow through a TV show and leave me in the dust. You're going to leave me out to dry. You're going to hang me out to dry. But I haven't watched a show from start to finish in a while. What's the, you know, like I'll do that with Stranger Things. Not afraid to admit it. I'm a Stranger Things fan. But you know what? I am a little bit nervous because the last season of Stranger Things, I started to get that detachment because too much time passes in between the seasons to where I don't care anymore. And when the new season comes on, I have to force to care. And then I'm like, everybody's older now. And I get taken out of it. So I really don't know how they're going to do this. And I also don't know what they're going to do with Bobby Brown, Bobby, Millie, Billy, because she's like a woman now, like a grown adult woman. And I remember her as like this tall with a shaved head and a bloody nose. So I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know what that's going to do, but I will watch it because I think that was a cool show, and I feel like it was pretty interesting. So I will try to get through, and I will wait for that. But also the thing is, like, you get into something and you like it and you're like, yes, that was great. I binge it, you know, you watch it while it's live and you get the every other week episode. And then Netflix or whoever, the streaming service, is like, hey, you really like that, and bet you can't wait for the next season. It's going to be out in 3 years. You know how much can happen in 3 years? I mean, Christ. Like, I could die before Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out. That's what I'm most worried about, is just dying before I could play that game. It was like 15 years ago or whatever Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but you could die before Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out and you just never could play it. Imagine just never being able to play Grand Theft Auto 6. Never being able to experience it. And like whatever something crazy happens, everybody's like, oh, I can't believe we got this before GTA 6. I can't believe we got a Tesla car dealership in front of the White House before we got GTA 6. See, that's funny to pick on, but politics. And someone's like, through their headset. I'll drive a Tesla. I don't even care. But I feel like I talked enough. I feel like I talked enough about not a lot. I feel like I talked a lot about nothing. And that's what I said this will be. And that's what it's going to be. Until I don't know, until whatever I want to do, because this is just my little corner. And if you tune in to listen, that's awesome. And if not, then you don't know. Then you just don't know. And then that's fine. And I know I touched the microphone too much and you yelled at me about it, but I do it because it's in my face and someone's going to say it's distracting. But I'm working on a lot of stuff and we're going to figure everything out. We do it every other time. Every other nuance, something gets figured out and something gets situated and something changes. And that's what we're going to do, because if you're not evolving, then you're not doing it. Then what are you doing? You're staying stagnant. You're staying stagnant like that bucket of water in the summer that sits out back. It gets all those mosquitoes floating around and they swim. And it's weird that a thing that flies in its adulthood is grown in water. But then again, now that I think about it, so are we. We grow in a sludge of goop and we just breathe like fish. And then you come out in this sack and you're just like, hey, I was curled up in a ball for 9 months and I'm covered in cottage cheese and I'm goopy and there's just shit all over me. But hey, I'm here now and I'm breathing air somehow after I got that little pat on my butt. And now that I thought, why aren't babies when they're born 9 months? When it's your first birthday, when you're 1 year old, why aren't you 1.9? How come 3 months after you're born, you're not 1? Eventually, that'll just even out. So when you're 5 years old, you're 5 years old. Why don't you just start at 9 months? You're not new when you come out. You've been growing for 9 months. You're 9 months old. And then 3 months, it's your first birthday. So technically, however old you are right now, just add 9 months to that. Because that's how old you are, I think. I don't know. But on that, I'm going to figure it out. And we're going to do it again. And I'm going to continue to make stuff, do stuff, and just put it all out there. Because that's what I'm going to do. And because the biggest thing is I'm just going to continue to do whatever it is. I'm just going to continue to do because I am in my own bubble. The people that I care about are in that bubble with me. And outside of that, I'm not afraid of, oh no, do I look stupid? Is someone going to say something bad? Don't care. Because I just want to do stuff, and I'm not going to not do something just because, someone may go, hey, that's stupid. I wouldn't do that again. And somebody's probably like, well, if it's that late, you really shouldn't be having a piece of pizza because it's going to hurt your tum-tum. And you know who I'm talking to. No, I'm just kidding. All right, now I'm going to go. Bye.